After rehearsal ended, I realized I'd left my phone in my English classroom. Room 313.
The hall was dead quiet, just the hum of the flickering overhead lights. Most of the doors were locked, but 313 was cracked open, just a sliver. I thought maybe the janitor had already been through, so I slipped inside. Right away, something felt off. The air was thick, like the room hadn't been opened in years. Dust floated in the moonlight, spilling through the tall windows. My desk, third row by the window, had my phone sitting right on top. Easy. I walked over, grabbed it, and the door slammed shut behind me. Hard. I froze. Just stood there, staring at the door. I told myself it was the wind, even though the windows weren't open. I walked over to the door and tried the handle. Locked. Like, completely. Then I heard the whispering. It was faint at first, just behind me, like someone talking into my ear but not using real words. A breathy, urgent mumbling. I spun around. The room was empty. I walked over, grabbed it, and the door slammed shut behind me. Hard. I froze. Just stood there, staring at the door. I told myself it was the wind, even though the windows weren't open. I walked over to the door and tried the handle. Locked. Like, completely. Then I heard the whispering. It was faint at first, just behind me, like someone talking into my ear but not using real words. A breathy, urgent mumbling. I spun around. The room was empty, but one of the chairs was pulled out. I swear to you, I'd been alone. No one else came in. But now there was this desk in the back corner, just waiting. The chair turned slightly toward me, like an invitation. I backed away. My phone was still in my hand, so I turned on the flashlight, and that's when I saw the writing. Dozens of tiny carved letters in the wood of the desks, the walls, even the chalkboard. I hadn't noticed them before, all saying the same thing. Let me out. Over and over. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Then, the whispering turned into sobbing. It wasn't loud, but it was unmistakable. A low, desperate weeping coming from inside the classroom, but everywhere at once. The air turned ice cold. And then I heard the chair scrape back. Something had stood up from that desk. I didn't look. I couldn't. I just ran to the door, pounded on it, screamed. And then it just opened, like it had never been locked at all. I didn't look back. I sprinted down the stairs out of the school and didn't stop until I was in my driveway. I told myself I imagined it. Stress, exhaustion, whatever. But the next day at school, I was called into the counselor's office. She asked me why I'd vandalized the classroom. I told her I hadn't, but she showed me photos. My name was scratched all over the desks and the chalkboard in room 313. Over and over, carved in frantic, deep letters. Thing is, I never touched a piece of chalk, and I never carved anything. They sealed off the room after that. Rumors went wild. I didn't talk to anyone about it again. Until now. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm falling asleep, I still hear that whispering. And once, I swear, I saw that same desk and chair. In my bedroom.
It started last October, right before Halloween. I was staying late after school to finish up a project in the art room. Big mistake. Everyone else had gone home, except maybe a janitor or two, and the hallways were dead silent. I liked it that way, usually. Peaceful. But that night it felt wrong. The lights were flickering like they do in every horror movie. I laughed at it, tried to play it cool. But then, on my way to the bathroom, I noticed something strange down the hallway near the old gym. There was a locker. One I swear hadn't been there before. It was number 616. The rest of the lockers in that row stopped at 615. I remembered because that's where I used to hang out in freshman year, right near the end of the hall. I walked past that spot 100 times. There was never a 616. I got closer and noticed it was dented, scratched all over like someone or something had tried to claw it open. The lock was missing. I don't know why, but I pulled it open. Inside, nothing. Just darkness. Like way darker than it should have been. I leaned in a little, and that's when I heard it. A whisper, faint, like it was coming from miles away, but definitely from inside the locker. I froze. It said my name. Not shouted, just whispered. Parker. I slammed the locker shut and bolted. I didn't even finish my project. I just grabbed my bag and left. Didn't say a word to anyone the next day. But then it got worse. The next time I passed that hallway, during school hours with people around, the locker was gone. Just 6:15, like always. I thought maybe I imagined it. Stress, lack of sleep, whatever. But then, 3 days later, I found a note in my locker. Folded perfectly, no name on it. I opened it and felt my chest tighten. It just said, "You shouldn't have opened it." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing scratching sounds outside my window. I live on the second floor. There's nothing out there but siding and brick. But it went on for hours. The next day, I skipped school, told my parents I was sick, but when I finally went back, things got even stranger. No one remembered the locker. Not my friends. Not even Mr. Harmon, the janitor, who's worked there for 30 years. He actually laughed when I asked if there was ever a locker 616. That night, I stayed late again. I know, stupid. But I needed to see if it was really gone. Same hallway, same flickering lights. And there it was. 616. Exactly where it shouldn't be. This time, the door was already open. And inside, there was a photo. Black and white. Old, like from the 1950s. A class photo. I recognized the hallway behind them. Same lockers. But what made my skin crawl was the girl in the front row. She was staring right at the camera, but her eyes were just black. Not edited, not shadowed, just empty. On the back of the photo, written in red ink, "She never left." Then I heard it again. The whisper. Right behind me. Parker. I turned, but the hallway was empty. Or I thought it was. Then I looked in the art room window, its reflection, and I saw someone standing behind me. That girl from the photo, smiling, not blinking. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I just ran. Out the side exit. Didn't stop until I was home. The next day, I tried to tell someone, showed them the photo, but it was gone. My bag was empty. And now, every night since, I hear scratching on my walls, whispers behind me. And every time I close my eyes, I see that locker. And her. Still smiling, still waiting.
I used to think our school was just old. Cracked bricks, flickering lights, weird creaks at night. You know, the usual. But last Friday, something happened that I can't explain, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. It started with detention. I got caught sneaking out during lunch and was told to stay late. The halls were already empty by the time I sat down in that dusty room, room 306. It's never used anymore. Smelled like mildew and chalk. The windows were fogged over from the rain outside, and the only light came from this weak bulb overhead that kept buzzing, like it was straining to stay alive. Mr. Halvers, the teacher watching me, just stared at his phone. I started doodling in my notebook, trying to tune out the creepy quiet. But then, I heard it. A knock from the inside of the supply closet. I froze. Mr. Halvers didn't even look up. "Did you hear that?" I asked. He just grunted. Old building. Pipes. But pipes don't knock. Not like that. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow, deliberate taps. I got up and walked to the closet door, half expecting someone to jump out and laugh. But when I opened it, nothing. Just shelves of paper, old books, dust floating in the air like ash. I turned around, ready to tell Mr. Halvers he was losing it. But he was gone. No sound, no footsteps, just gone. I ran to the hallway, pitch black. All the lights that had been on were out now, and every door was closed. Every single one, except for 306 behind me. Then I saw something written on the whiteboard inside the room. My name, scrawled in thick black marker over and over, like someone had lost their mind writing it. Then the final line, "We found you." I didn't wait. I sprinted for the exit, but the hallway kept stretching. I swear I ran for minutes, but the lockers never ended. I couldn't breathe. My legs felt like they were sinking into the floor. Then, nothing. I woke up in the nurse's office. They said they found me unconscious outside, by the dumpsters. No sign of Mr. Halvers. No record of detention that day. And room 306, it was sealed shut. Had been for years. They told me no one's been inside since the fire, the one that killed a teacher, in 2005. His name was Halvers.